Today, I just want to share a little bit about faith, but not just faith, persistent faith. You see, all along we've been taught that faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. But what does that really mean? People assume that having faith would mean that your faith would yield a result immediately or almost immediately after. We want to believe today and see tomorrow. We want to believe today and reap the fruits of that faith tomorrow. But is that really the kind of faith that we can apply in every type of situation? No. Yes, there are situations wherein you only need faith just for a short period. You need to believe now and see the results an hour later. There are instances where such faith is needed, but there are other situations, other circumstances that call on persistent faith, that call on faith that pushes and pulls beyond all. And what kind of faith am I talking about? There's a saying that says that if you ask God for something and he says yes, he gives you what you want. And if he says no, he gives you something better. But if he says wait, he gives you the best. Now, when we read in the book of John chapter 2, we read about the wedding in Cana of Galilee, and where Jesus' mother was there and Jesus was there, and they ran out of wine, and Jesus' mother comes to Jesus and pleads with him and telling him that there is no wine. And she's not just telling him for the sake of telling. She's telling him because she knows, she trusts, she believes that there's something that he can do to change that situation. He can be the solution to that problem. And so the amazing part is that Jesus actually says in his response to her plea, he literally turns her down and he tells her, you know what? It's not yet time for me. He says, my hour has not yet come. And by that, he was referring to his hour of crucifixion, but at the same time, his hour of receiving glory, exaltation. So in every situation, God is looking for a point that will give him glory. See, if you are sick with flu and you get healed, God doesn't get the glory. You are most likely going to get healed. But if you get diagnosed with a terminal disease, of which all the doctors' reports state that there is no way on earth, there is no way in heaven that you could live. They've never seen it before. They have so much experience. They know this kind of disease, and you are terminally ill. You are going to die. That is where God is most likely to receive glory, because he's doing the impossible. He's doing something that has never been done before, has never been seen before, and that can evoke glory, that can awaken a man's faith within him, that can encourage other believers. Something that will stand out. So God is looking for a situation where that would glorify him. So until that point has come, God can stand aside and say, hey, my hour has not yet come. Your situation is bad, but it's not yet at that point where I need to come in. Yes, your child is sick. Yes, you're going through a painful situation, but it is not yet at that hour that I will receive glory if I save you. Because it's something that you would most likely be able to do by yourself without me. God is looking for a situation that is hopeless, a situation that there is no help, there is no source of help, there is no source of hope even. There is nothing around you that you can hold on to. There's nothing to pick you up. You are at the lowest of the low, and you're alone, you're deserted. It's at the worst. That is the point at which, if God helps you at that point, he receives glory. So he's saying to his mom, it's not yet my time to receive glory. It's not yet my time to receive exaltation. It's not yet my time to practice my power or to show my strength or my ability or my authority. Because if I do it now, the situation is not yet dire. It's not a serious thing as yet, and I won't receive exaltation. But look at Jesus' mom's response to his response. He literally said no. He turned her down in his response and told her it's not yet his time, so he's not going to do it. But she goes ahead right after. She doesn't even argue. She just turns to the servants and she tells them, whatever he says to you, you do it. So her faith pushes beyond his unwillingness to enter or to intervene at that point in time. So she presses past that. And we've seen this again at another point in the Bible, where a lady goes to Jesus and she says, she asks to partake, and Jesus says the master cannot take food from the table and give it to the dogs. But she says even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall off from the master's table. That is persistent faith, where the response has been negative. You don't even accept that response. You press past that response and you fight past it. You believe past it, even if the answer was a no. And I'm not talking about an answer just from people. I'm talking about an answer from God that is a no. The answer that is a wait. You press past it by your faith. And Jesus' mother shows us how faith without works is dead. She goes on to give an instruction to say, you know what, he said he's not going to do it, but I believe that he will if I also prepare or position myself to receive that blessing. So she instructs the servants to get ready to accept the blessing, irrespective of the fact that he just said no. That is persistent faith, faith that pushes past, faith that nudges past all of that. It refuses to accept no as an answer. It can't take no as an answer. You believe so much so that even when the answer is no, you continue to prepare to receive it. That is persistent faith. You have applied for that house and they said no. And God is also saying, wait, it's not yet time for me to intervene. But you say, God, you know what? I'm getting ready to move into my new house. And guess what? God did do the miracle. There was wine that was so good that all of the guests were saying, how could you give us the worst wine first and then bring out the best late? Because God, that blessing, that miracle wasn't just an average miracle. It was the best of the best. Because as a result of your persisting faith, God is he's left with no choice but to bless you because of the way you believe in him, even when he's saying it's not time for him to intervene, even when he's saying it's not yet time for him to receive glory from your situation, even when he's saying, wait, woman, what does this have to do with me? You bring him into the scene by force, by persistent faith. You believe past what news you're getting from the banks, past whatever responses you're getting from everyone else. You choose to believe in this God. You persist, you persevere. You do not take no for an answer. That is persistent faith. Now, if we were to have persistent faith, most of our situations wouldn't be as they are, because we just wouldn't take no for an answer. And that means continuing to press past the current. I've been through something similar just recently. I wanted something so bad. We applied for it. The answer was no. And I looked unto God and it looked like he was saying, wait. But I thank him for this revelation that he has brought into my life today. That there is such a thing as persistent faith that presses, that pushes, that refuses to take no for an answer, even from God. Persistent faith. May your faith persist past the no, past the wait, so that we can also partake in the best wine. Amen.